This is Mackenzie Olson, and I am completing the Module 1 assignment exit ticket using the Option 3 video submission. This module, the quote that stood out to me the most was from the Understanding Neuroscience in the Classroom Annenberg online course. It was in section 1, the 6th part. And the quote was, "All brains are different. They develop, adapt to, perceive, and interpret the world differently, so it's hardly surprising that learners learn in different ways." It goes on to say that this creates an impression that most people have the same brain, except for a group of students getting special services and untimed testing. This despite the insight from neuropsychology that everyone is learning disabled to some degree. This also draws a distinction between normal and learning disabled brains. As a teacher, we know that people see the world through their own lenses, usually through the lens that is their strength. In this online course, there's a case study on two boys. Each of them had either their right or left side of their brain removed, and yet are still functioning at or near their peers' level. It showed their brains making adjustments in how they see experiences in their own thinking. We all have our own way of interpreting and seeing the world, and we use our strengths to our advantage subconsciously. Teachers often intrinsically know that brains are different, students learn differently, and we may not be able to convey our knowledge directly. Students are different on all levels, just like teachers. We can't focus on getting each student to an answer at the same time and in the same way. There are many ways students learn and can reach the same answer. The more ways we can teach a topic, the higher the chances will be to have all students understand. I teach in an alternative high school, and our students that we teach struggle with addiction, anxiety, they're on parole, and have other major life issues that they're also dealing with. We have students who have life experience that I can't imagine and have a hard time relating to oftentimes. One of the situations that kind of comes to mind with this unit is a student that I have with an IQ in the 40s who is a drug dealer, a user, has ADHD, is bipolar, has oppositional defiant disorder, and is not on any medication for those. He is admitted to using marijuana, methamphetamine, and barbiturates. His mom is a drug addict, and at our last IEP meeting, was falling asleep, sweating profusely, drooling, and had to leave to vomit because she was coming off of whatever the drug was that she had been using that morning. One of the things that I recognized right away with this student is that he was wearing a Tupac t-shirt, and he had a really deep interest in the rapper Tupac. So I was able to relate to him through his music. One of the ways, at the beginning of all of my classes, we do something called Something Good. And I'll play a happy song and ask the students to tell me something good about their day or the best part of their day. When he came in his first day, I played a song by Tupac, and that kind of helped us relate on that kind of interest in his life. Later on in the week, we were learning about the periodic table, and I was able to give him some prompts to remember the elements on the periodic table based on rap slang terms, and he ended up getting a 60% on his test, which was up to that point the highest score he'd received on a science test, middle school, high school. The readings in this module confirm my way of thinking that each student has different ways to relate to material based on life experiences, and that each student not only has a different brain, but a different way of thinking and learning. I also use the neurosequential model for education developed by neuropsychologist Bruce Perry. And other critical points I got from the reading really lined up with his way of thinking. And those points are terms that I got from the Harvard Graduate School of Education term list. like prefrontal cortex that deals with executive functioning, and the other term is frontal lobe that deals with language and reasoning. My students take pulses each hour. We have taught them the connection between stressors and pulse, and the connection between your range of pulse and how you're able to learn, how well you're able to learn. And we've taught them that a stressed brain can't function and can't learn. Just like the fight or flight, when our pulses are up, we can't always distinguish between a real threat and maybe a teacher in front of you asking you to put your cell phone away, a false threat. So this module was something totally in my comfort zone, something I really am glad to see others learning about and others placing value in, because it's something we've done quite a bit of in our school, and it's just made tremendous growth for our students and our staff. And it's something that I think can go across the boards, not only in alternative ed, but in all classes at all levels.